What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. So just another recap on today's trading. So thank you guys again for joining us. This is going to be a recap on today's trading for NUGT. I'm going to be talking about my best practices, what I could have improved on my trade today, and what kind of initiated and why I bought in, why I sold at the points that I did. So if you guys don't know, I am using the TechBud Solutions group chat. So if you guys would like to be a part of it, my email is provided for you down below. Right now, altogether, we're a little bit over or a little bit under 1,900 members worldwide, and it comes from all different experience levels. So if you'd like to be a part of this networking group, feel free to email me and ask for the welcome document, which will provide you with all the group chats that we have. This is our general group chat or our main group chat, as well as we have swing trading, pre-market movers, and technical analysis group chats. And then with this, depending on what market or what sectors you want to focus on, then you join those group chats accordingly. You can join all of them, or you can just join specific ones. There's that Facebook platform as well, which is where I upload and kind of represents an overall understanding of like the members that are included in the group. So it is a closed group, so you guys can ask to join. The link is provided for you down below. I do post videos here quite often, so that can be somewhat helpful. And it's a platform that kind of keeps us all together, so it's very helpful in that perspective. I'm going to do a little recap again, going right into it. So today I traded NUGT, and as you guys can see by my title, it was a profit of $200 flat. And I ended up actually shouting out my alerts or shouting out my trades as I went, before or right after I bought in, and then right before I sold. So like we always start in the morning, we say good morning to one another, and right at the open at 7:30, went ahead and let the team know that NUGT was bouncing at 12. Based on the analysis that I was able to perform, old resistance becoming new supports, which is a trend that we can identify within this group. If you guys haven't or don't really understand technical analysis, there's a video that I elaborate a little bit more on that. So that video should be in my videos. But I'm going to do a little bit of a recap. And so I shut it out at the bounce at $12. It bounced at 12, went a little bit below 12. It went to 11.98, and then bounced right back up. And ended up having a resistance at 12.25. It broke the resistance, which means it went above it. And as it continued, I was telling them, selling NUGT at a resistance at 12.80. And I told them that I'm trailing with the stop loss, which means that it's an order. I'll talk to you guys about it once I get to that point. And then I told them when I sold $200 flat, told them that sorry for the slow morning, I was actually in a meeting. But let me go ahead and do the breakdown on today's trade. So looking at NUGT, this is a 5-day analysis with the Fidelity Brokerage Company. I don't actively always trade with day trades. With Fidelity, I use Robinhood. This is the platform that I use. It is a free platform you can use. There was one of you guys that asked me, or a couple of you that asked me, how do I get these candlesticks? So when you search up your stock and you click on advanced charts on that, you can click on draw, and then there are these two. They're the resistance and the support. Okay, so when it comes to the breakdown on why I bought in at 12, so today's February 10th, and this is where it bounced at $12. Again, bounced right at 10, hit highs at the end of the day of 13.10, and then plateaued and stayed above 12.90. The way I was able to come up with this whole plan and understanding that this was a support is, when we talk about stocks, is that stocks tend to repeat themselves and the trends within them. So being able to identify old resistance, which means old levels where it struggled to go above, become new supports. And if you guys do an analysis, and you guys have to go a little bit further back, so I'm going to do a 10-day analysis, and then you guys should be able to see it a little bit clearer. So pretty much, I'm going to get a little bit closer because that's not all I want to see. And right here, so as the stock was coming down pre-market, I actually was able to see the pre-market or the extended hours. And with the extended hours, it already had a support. As you can see, these little gray areas, since it's from the 9th to the 10th, this is the pre-market hours from this point forward. And I saw that it had a support at $12. It hit 12, hit highs of 12.20, and then came back down. Sometimes when the market opens, it ends up breaking that support and continue to drop. So although I didn't initially buy in at the lowest absolute point of 11.98, the reason why is because I wanted to ensure that it was going to bounce. Again, it's not always about getting at the lowest point, but ensure that you're getting at a good point enough to be able to identify that it's going up, so seeing upward momentum. So pretty much once it hit that $12 resistance, it ended up bouncing, hit 12.05 and then came back down, hit 12.02 and then came back down. I bought in at that $12 mark and then started riding it up. The volume just ended up spiking. And again, the reason I was able to identify the resistance or the support at $12 was because, as we say before, a couple of days ago, as the stock was rising, so it was showing upward momentum, right? It had a resistance at $12, meaning that as it was coming up, it hit $12 and came back down. It was coming up, hit $12, went a little bit above it, and came back down. Plateaued above 12 aftermarket hours on the 3rd, and then ended up breaking above it pre-market hours on the 6th. So this was over the weekend, and then continued to rise. So with this, I was able to identify that this old resistance level was gonna become a new support level. And again, the pre-market hours, was just there to support that case, and that's why I ended up buying it at 12. How was I able to identify 1280 as a good sell point? Pretty much the same thing. This old, support level, as you guys can see here, old supports become new resistance, and it goes vice versa, just like I explained. Old resistance become new supports. So being able to identify that once this stock went above, 1280, 1290, it was struggling to go below that point. It held very well above 1290 and 1280. So I knew there was somewhat of a resistance that was going to occur around this time. And as I said, as it was picking up, it actually initially hit 1280, came back down, and then broke above it. I sold on that first peak, and I sold quickly just because I wanted to lock in my profits, $200 profit. I was busy already, and I didn't want to, regret the profit that I've already made. So I was following with a stop loss, meaning that I'm gonna get a little bit closer. Meaning, as the stock started to rise, every time that it rose, 10 cents, I would put a stop loss at, let's say the price was at $12.45. I would put a stop loss at $12.34.99, meaning that I gave it 10 cents to move around of room. And if it ended up dropping below, I would have sold and locked in whatever profit I had already. And as the stock continued to rise, I followed with a stop loss. My overall target sell point was $12.80, and the reason it was that was because of this resistance right here. As you can see, the first resistance level based on the history, so this was yesterday, as the stock dipped, bounced at $12.45 and hit highs of $12.80, and then it dropped below it. I was able to identify that as an old resistance. So as history tends to repeat itself, again, what's most likely going to happen? Not hoping for the best, but being able to have a plan. So I was able to identify the resistance at $12.80. So it's a simple process, understanding where you're buying, understanding where your target sell point is, and then having a stop loss to minimize loss. Having those 3 setups will truly lead to your success when it comes to trading, because you know that you're getting in at a good point, right above the support. You're going to be selling at a good point, right below the resistance, and you have a plan of, cutting losses if it goes anything below your buy point or anything below your support to minimize loss, and to lock in your profit as it continues to rise. You follow with the trailing stop loss. So you can use all these tools that we implement with TechBud Solutions in effort to minimize loss, promote growth, and cut losses as low as possible. And that's what led to my successful trade today. I shouted it out as I was going in, so a couple traders were able to mimic my trade and being able to lock in some profit. There's a good amount of traders that were able to day trade, since I know a lot of you are pretty busy. So when our buddy Dylan, right behind the fire truck, and then a couple other traders, just in their home office and stuff like that. So yeah, if you guys didn't see yesterday's, in a sense, recap on my trade on JAGX, it was actually giving Keith, kudos for shouting out the stock, and it led to the team, to be able to lock in well above, $1,000 worth of profit, or $2,000 worth of profit collectively. So again, it's all about this group and the exposure that it allows you to have because of the thousands of people that are researching their own stocks. And in effort of doing that, you're exposed to more opportunity. So that's why I find this group so helpful. So that's pretty much it. That's my recap on today's trading. If you guys haven't done so already, again, feel free to reach out to me with joining the group with the link that's provided for you down below, or you guys can email me at techbud@mail.com. Please give me 24 to 48 hours to respond. I might need 72 hours depending on how many emails I've been receiving. I'm backed up with over 150 emails because of all the new members that have proactively been joining the group. So it's over 50 members average a day that have been joining. And although I definitely love all the support that I'm getting from you guys, it's definitely difficult since I respond to these emails by hand personally, and I want to make sure that I'm able to read respectfully your emails and able to respond, the proper way. So thank you guys again so much for watching. And if you guys haven't done so already, we would appreciate if you guys can subscribe. And for our daily recap videos that we upload weekly, as well as the different car videos that we upload quite often as well. Thank you guys again so much for joining, and I hope you guys have a good week, and hopefully you guys ended up the week on a green note. And if you guys can, feel to join us on our Sunday Stock Talk. That is a weekly recap on last week's trading and what to expect for next week. Thank you guys and take care.